San Diego, 2012. Kelly, Abby, and I decided to christen our new house with our first party. Well, it was more of a pregame because Kyle was going to have a rager down the street, and we didn't want our house trashed. They made fun of me for bringing my cotton candy machine from home, but I knew it would be a big hit. Drunk people were always hungry. Who wouldn't be stoked to have some cotton candy when they were tipsy? Everyone, that too. I tried to think of a way to invite Hunter without asking someone for his number or just showing up at his door like a stalker. I mean, he was my neighbor, but still. I didn't want to come on too strong. Hunter technically deserted me at school, but he knew I lived with Abby and I could ride back with her. Maybe he had plans after class or it was an emergency. Either way, I knew a spark existed between us. It just needed a little ignition. I saw Hunter sunbathing out the window on his front deck, which was adjacent to mine. I took a deep breath and walked out to water the plants on my deck. I knew nothing about plants. Seeing him without a shirt on for the first time sent my heartbeat straight into my lower stomach. He had one of those lean, fit soccer bodies. And tan, Lord, was he tan. He must have spent all summer in the Caribbean with a tan like that. I heard Alt J playing on his phone, and a glass of blush-colored wine sat beside him. What guy laid out sipping rosé at 10 in the morning? I pretended not to notice him while watering a plant directly in his eye line. "Didn't take you for a green thumb, Stone," Hunter said behind me. "There's a lot you don't know about me," I said, smiling without turning around. My last name belonged to him. "Well, there's only one way to remedy that. How about a little game of 20 questions?" I turned around. His expression was impossible to read behind his classic black Ray-Bans. "Right now?" He couldn't mean right now. "No time like the present," Hunter answered assuredly. Sure," I happily conceded. "The plants can wait." I stepped over the foot-high brick wall that divided our decks. "Seeing as some gardeners watered all those plants about 30 minutes ago, I'd have to agree with you," Hunter snickered. Fuck. "Heat wave this summer. Plants can use all the water they can get." It was a reach, but I think I covered my lie well enough. "Whatever you say," Hunter said. He grabbed a towel and laid it on the lounge chair next to him for me. "Do you want some rosé?" "Who says no to rosé on a hot day like this?" I smirked. Hunter laughed and went inside. Phew, I need a second to prepare myself for this. I took a deep breath and ran my fingers through my hair. This time, I was more prepared for our interaction than last time. I wore a bright yellow bikini with a long Levi's jean button-up over it and a black hat covering my face for a dash of mystery. Dad always said I looked great in hats. Even though I was prepared for this interaction and I planned it, Hunter still took me off guard. He always did. His allure twisted me inside out. He returned with a wine glass for me, and not some cheap-looking glass. It was elegant, thin glass, small at the bottom, wide, and then small again. I think it was specifically made for rosé. He must really like wine. Hunter poured me a very large glass and handed it to me. It's Whispering Angel, one of my favorites. I sipped it. It's delicious. So was he. Okay, so how the game works is we ask each other questions. Once a question is asked, it cannot be reused by the other person. Bonus points for creativity. Hunter said this like he played with a million girls before me. "Got it. And the rosé?" I asked. "The rosé is here to aid in our honesty in answering. I suggest a sip with each question. Bonus points for sips between questions." Hunter took a long sip. Man, what I would do to be his wine glass right now. "A lot of bonus points in this game. What do those get me?" I matched his long sip. "Does that count as your first question, Stone?" He looked me deep in the eye like everything in the world hung on my answer. God, he made me so nervous. I had never been this nervous around a guy before. Typically, I was the flirt, the alpha. No, I don't want to waste a question on that. "Smart girl, because I have no idea what the bonus points get you," he laughed. "Besides being fun to play with." "Okay, Mr. Questions, this is your game. You start." Fair enough. "Okay, Stone, let's start off with something easy. Do you have any siblings?" Hunter asked. "Older brother." We both took a long sip. Then I asked, "Where are you from?" "South Bend, Indiana." I was shocked. How did a guy like this come from Indiana? You can try to hide the shock on your face. My older brother went to college in LA, so I've spent a lot of time there. LA, now that made sense. My turn. Favorite movie? He asked. I hate this question. I am an absolute cinephile. I can never choose just one, I whined, taking another sip. You must answer or pay the consequences, he said, stretching his arm over his head, exposing his underarm hair. He felt so much older than me, even though I knew he wasn't. I kind of wanted to find out what the consequences were. I shook my head to focus. Okay, I'll just tell you what I've seen the most times. Romeo and Juliet, the Leo version. Baz does a good job taking a classic and giving it new life. He took another long sip. You know the director Baz Luhrmann? Surprise filled my voice. It's Moulin Rouge for me. When I didn't drink, he said, that counts as your question stone. Drink up. I obeyed and pressed the glass to my lips, feeling my insides getting warmer. My mind flashed back to his room freshman year, chock full of books and vinyls, and he knew his movies. I had the embarrassing thought that he just might be made for me. Time to take this game up a notch, Hunter said. Have you ever had a one-night stand? Mid-sip, I almost choked, but pridefully I managed, no. Something flashed in his eyes, like a lion looking at its prey from across the field. It made my cheeks flush. How many one-night stands have you had, Hunter? I challenged, emphasizing the word many, so he would know I wasn't copying his question. He smiled and seemed to count in his head. 13. Suddenly his gaze looked almost devilish. My turn. He leaned closer. If the fire alarm didn't go off freshman year, were you considering me as your first one-night stand? My eyes widened. I wasn't sure I even knew the answer to that. Spence! Abby screamed from the inside of our house. Spider, help! Saved by a fucking spider. I downed the rest of my rosé and set my glass on the table. Sorry, Hunter. Duty calls. Brain check on your question. I'm the man of our house. Funny. I'm not usually attracted to men, Hunter replied. I bit my lip. Everything out of his mouth was like butter. I'll be claiming that rain check stone. I look forward to it. I walked away realizing I'd forgotten the entire reason I went out there in the first place. Oh, and by the way, we're having a little pregame tonight if you want to stop by. Cool. That's all he said, but it was the icing on the cake of whatever that interaction just was. I knew two things for sure. One, rosé really was delicious on a warm day. I'd never had it. I'd heard the line I said in a movie. Two, I was so turned on, I could barely see straight.